You all know that your advanced Java class is completed, right? But we are left out with few small concepts. Like in JDBC, we have batch processing and callable statement. And I need to explain you about basic MVC, Spring MVC. Correct? So only these three concepts are left out. I don't want to skip this because in interview, suppose if they ask any questions regarding to callable batch processing and basic uh, Spring MVC architecture, so you should be able to answer. Correct? You should be able to answer. So I'll just complete it for today, and then your mock and all will be scheduled by your counselors, which trainer will be taking, which is the Google Meet for that, what like how many students at a time should join the Google Meet. All these will be given by the counselor. So till then you people can prepare for your mock. Till then you people can prepare for your mock. Okay, so I'll just complete these concepts which are left out, and from tomorrow you're free 7 to 9, no classes, nothing. You can aram say prepare. Fine. Few more questions are there. Few more important questions are there. For that, I will only give answers, how to answer and all. You people can just go through all those. But give me tomorrow one day time. By then, I'll share you all the questions. Fine. Okay, so directly we'll start executing things. I don't want to waste time. Okay. Is my screen visible to everyone? Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. So first we'll try to complete two concepts of JDBC. Okay, two concepts in JDBC we'll complete, and then later I'll give you explanation about Spring MVC architecture, and then we'll wind up our class. Okay. Okay, guys. So I'll just create a simple Maven project. You people can also do this along with me. Just create a simple project for JDBC. Okay. So I'll give com dot JDBC, and I'll give project name as sample JDBC, and I'll just finish and add the dependency. We need to add one dependency, right? Add that also. Okay, so project is created. That is sample JDBC. Yeah, you can create Java project and you can add the jar also. No issues. So in bomb.xml, I'll add a tag dependencies, and here I'll just paste the dependency. Yeah, dependency is added. Did everyone create the project? And do people add the dependency? Have you added the dependencies and your project is ready? Shall we go for execution? Yeah, you can take it from MVN repository, right? Just copy paste the dependency. That's completed. Or you want me to wait? Okay. So first we need to register the driver, right? We need to register the driver. So we'll be using class.forname.com mysql jdbc driver. So this will throw you class not found exception. So we'll be handling it. Yes, you people remember all these steps? Yes or no? Okay. Now what we should do? What is the next step? Next step is you need to create a connection. Yes, for that we need to give the URL, username and password, correct? And this will throw you which type of exception. It will throw you SQL exception, correct? So first two steps are done. Now in third step we understood we can write a query, or we can execute the query in two different ways. One is a statement and the other one is prepared statement, correct? One is statement, one is prepared statement. We understood how prepared statement is more easy when compared to statement interface. Now what we will be doing is we will be using the third one, that is callable statement from java.sql package. Callable statement from java.sql package. Now callable statement will not use the query. It will not use the query which is written in the uh, Java programming language or in the Eclipse itself. So here only we used to write the query, right, which is in the application itself directly. But instead it will take the query which is written in MySQL workbench, that is in the stored procedure format. You people completed SQL, right? You people completed my like SQL classes. So there you will have advanced SQL classes like PLSQL. In that you will be having views, procedures, stored procedures. Yes, did you complete all those classes in SQL? You will use stored procedures in SQL, PLSQL. Yeah, in PLSQL only you will have that. If it is not thought, okay, fine, not a issue. Not a issue. I will tell you how to write a stored procedure. Okay, for that we should go to MySQL workbench. We will be going to MySQL workbench. Okay, so already we had created a schema, right? Already we have a schema called JDBC tables. In that we have student table and person table. Everyone have student table and person table. We will make use of same schema and same table. Okay, so here when you scroll down, but in this JDBC tables itself, in this schema, can you find something called as views, stored procedure functions? Views, stored procedure functions, you are able to see that? Guys, everyone do this along with me. Okay. Okay, so here we need to write the query in stored procedure. So first we will be making use of student table. In student table, how many columns we have? We have three columns. One is ID, name, and marks. ID, name, and marks. Fine. So I will just right click on this stored procedure. Can you see an option called create stored procedure? Yes, I'll create the stored procedure. Everyone got this page? Create procedure, procedure name, and then begin and end. Begin and end is nothing but like your open curly brace and closed curly brace. It's similar to that, begin and end. We use it in stored procedure. Okay, now here you need to give the name for the stored procedure. So I'll just give it as save underscore stud. Save underscore stud. This is the name of the stored procedure which I am giving. Now you need to insert a data into the student table. In student table, how many columns we have? We have three columns. That means we should have three attributes, correct? One is id, one is id, so I'll make use of int. And next is name, so I'll give just n, and it is varchar of 45. Next is marks, marks double double. Yes. Now in this, in between begin and end, I will write the query. What is the query? Insert into table name as student. Insert into student values. So here I'll just mention ID 10 marks. So this is your stored procedure. You're creating a procedure here that is save student. So from Java, this save student, that is this particular stored procedure, will be called whatever ID name marks is passed from Java application. It will accept those datas and it will pass into the insert query, and this insert query will insert the data into the table, whichever table you have mentioned. Did you people write this properly? Once it is done, let me know. Completed. Once after writing all these queries and after creating stored procedure, click on apply, and then finish. So you can see here your stored procedure will be created. Your stored procedure will be created, correct? Now, okay, our stored procedure is created and our work is done. Our work is done. So to get a proper idea, I'll just delete all this so that we'll know whether the data is getting inserted or not. Okay, so I don't have any data in my table and my stored procedure is save stud underscore stud done. So now we'll go back to our Eclipse. We'll go back to our Eclipse. We have created the um, callable statement. Right now, how to call the procedure? How to call the procedure? So connection dot prepare call. You have a method called prepare call. Yes, everyone got that? Now, prepare call means we are going to call the particular stored procedure. We are going to call the particular stored procedure which we have created. So, what we should write here? I'll write call save stud, which is having three parameter, which is having three parameter. Done. We have called the stored procedure. We have called the stored procedure. Now we need to pass the values. We need to pass the values. How you used to pass the values for prepared statement? The same way I will set. First is int. First column will have int value cs dot set string. Second column is having string dimple cs dot set double. So here we need to pass, that is the third column, pass the marks. Now what I'll do, I'll just write cs dot. So what we should write, if we don't call this method, what happens? Will the callable statements get executed? It will not get executed. So you need to execute it, then connection dot close. So for our understanding, what we will do, we will just print data saved. Okay, so what is happening here? We are registering the driver, we are establishing the connection to the MySQL, and then we are making use of callable statement interface, and we are calling the stored procedure which is saved in the uh, database. And then we are setting the values, we are executing it. So let me execute this program. So you can see here we got an output called as data saved. So we'll go back to our MySQL. We'll go back to our MySQL. We will just refresh and we'll check yes, data is saved. Yes, data is saved. Now, you know the advantage of prepared statement. Now, what is the advantage of callable statement? Why we should use callable statement or why we should use a stored procedure is, if you write the query in Java language, if you write the query in Java language, or let's take we have a method called save student, all the logics are written in that particular method. Can Python language call that save student method, or can any other language call that particular save student method which is written in Java language in an application? It is not possible, right? This particular insert query, again, we should rewrite in Python, in C hash, or in any other language. This insert query, if you write it in Java programming language, again, it should be rewritten in the other language, then only we can use. But if you write it inside the database like this in a stored procedure, from this particular database, Python language can also access this stored procedure. C hash also can access the stored procedure. Any other programming language can also access this particular stored procedure and execute this insert query. That is one main advantage of the stored procedure. And using callable statement, you can call the stored procedure. That's all, simple. So did you people execute completed executed? It's working. Is it working? Executed, everyone? If it is done, then I'll move to batch execution. Done? Everyone completed? So now we'll try to understand what is batch execution. So it's nothing complicated. Okay. Batch execution means instead of executing insert query repeatedly for each data, if we execute once, all the data should get inserted into our database. How to write a program for that, we will understand. That's all. Fine. So what I'll do, I'll just create a class and I'll just write batch execution. Okay, so I'll just take a query. The query is insert into student values question mark question mark question mark. Yeah, this is our query now. So what we need to do, we need to register the driver, establish the connection. Done. So first two step is completed. Now the third step is we can use statement, prepared statement or callable statement. Okay, so I'm not going to use stored procedure here. I'll directly use a prepared statement. Oh, it's not from the proper package. Prepared statement java.sql is equal to connection dot prepared statement pass the query, that is q. Done. Now what we need to do is I have three set of data. I have three set of data I need to insert. First we need to set the data, right? So ps dot set int first column id, ps dot set string second ps dot set double third column marks. So this is one set of data, ID, name, and marks. Yeah, this data I will add it into the batch execution, right? So one complete batch should be inserted at once into the database. So I should add this into the batch. So I'll just write ps dot add batch. I'm adding this data into the batch. One set of data is done. So I'll take the second set of data, that is 24. My second data is ready. ps dot add batch. Added into the batch. And then my third set of data, 25. Done. So I'll add this also into the batch. Done. Three data is also added into the batch. So all these are present inside the batch. I'll execute at once. For that, what we should write is ps dot execute batch. ps dot execute batch. So for our understanding, we'll just print data saved. Done. So let me execute this and check whether data is getting saved or not. Okay, data is saved. We'll go back to our MySQL workbench. See, we have only one data previously for callable statement which we have executed. Now I will refresh. You can see 23, 24, 25. Three data is also inserted into the table in one connection. We have connected into the MySQL database once, and three data is also inserted at once. So this is your batch execution. So as of now, in industries, we are not using JDBC, we are directly using Spring Boot and all those things, But this is important in your interview. Batch execution, stored procedure, prepared statement, advantages and difference between statement, prepared statement, callable statement, difference between execute query, and execute update, execute batch. All these four differences you people should know, and that's it. In JDBC, these are important things. Okay, can you people execute it? It is simple, right? For this callable statement and batch execution, I did not share the notes. Previously, when I shared JDBC, these concepts were not there. If it is not there, let me know. I will share these two. Okay, I'll share it. I'll share it. No issues. Just execute this, guys. Like this, you can add n number of datas into the batch at once. Yes, yes, Christians, that is more. That is more than enough. Completed. Guys, everyone executed. Okay. So now we will try to understand MVC. Okay. Spring MVC. Can you tell Spring MVC is the advancement of which technology? Now, for instead of spring, we have springboard. Correct. For example, a simple example I'll give. In statement you had problem, we used prepared statement, correct? Like that. Spring MVC is making user or making the developers work easy, but it is used instead of which technology? Build on J2EE. Okay. Okay. So we have used servlets and JSP, right? We have used servlets and JSP. In servlets and in JSP, what we were doing in servlets and in JSP, what we were doing, we were working with front end also, right? We were working with Spring Boot is separate, guys. Don't get confused with Spring Boot and Spring MVC. Okay, Spring Boot is more important when compared to Spring MVC. So I just completed all important concepts. Fine. Now, Spring MVC is usually for your front end purpose. Like in servlets, what we were doing, we were trying to take the input from the users in the form of forms, right? We used form. We created a HTML form. We tried to display, redirect the page, forward, like all these we were doing. Like we were working on with front end part. Yes. So here we had few issues. For each and every request we should create a servlet page, correct? For each and every request we need to send, and for each and every request we should get response, we should get servlet page should be created. Yes or no? You we did our application, I guess, student application or something we did. So servlet page should be created. Servlet page should be created, and that is one big disadvantage here, because for each request you should have a servlet, for each response you should have a servlet, which was the big disadvantage of servlet and JSP. So instead of servlet and JSP, we have Spring MVC. Instead of servlet and JSP, we will be using Spring MVC. So in servlet and JSP, how this web.xml was working, all this, right? That is internally used by your Spring MVC. It is internally used by your Spring MVC. So how it is used, that is none of our business. Yeah, we know that Hibernate uses JDBC. How it is used, that is none of our business. It is using, we are working, we should know how to work with it. Similarly, your web in servlet you have something called as web.xml. That web.xml is simply called as web container. Okay, so that how Spring MVC uses the web container. You already know how the what is the use of web.xml. So we need to understand how to work with Spring MVC now. So, if you wanted to know how to work with Spring MVC, then you should know the architecture of Spring MVC. Spring MVC has its own architecture. You should know how that architecture works. Then you can write the code. It is similar to how you write your Java program. And so, what is this MVC called as? This MVC is nothing but model view controller. Usually we will be dealing with model, view and controller. What is this model? You should know. What is view? You should know. What is controller? You should know. In interview also, they will be asking these questions only. What is MVC? What is model? What is view? What is controller? How exactly it is working? What is the architecture of it? All these questions only they will be asking, and I'll be covering it now. Okay, understand the flow. Okay, just assume a real application. Okay, just assume a real application. Okay, here we have the this is our client. Let's take this is our client. Okay, Client means who's using the application, who's using the application. So if you're using any application, you will send a request, correct? You will be sending a request. Let it be sign in, sign up, you want to register, update, delete, let it be any request, but request will be sent, correct? Now this request will be taken by your controller. It will be taken by your controller. So this is in MVC, in your Spring MVC, this is called as friend controller, or it is also called as dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet. It is called as dispatcher servlet. Fine. So first thing is, when client sends the request, it will be going to your friend controller or dispatcher servlet. Let's take, the client needs to register into the application. Client need to register the application. That means the request will be sent. In request, what will be sent? The data will be sent, right? The name, email ID, password, phone number, address, all these data will be sent in a request to register. That user should register, so all this data will be sent, correct? Friend controller will collect it, and that data which is collected by the friend controller, it will be again moved to the your controller part, your DAO part and all. Okay, so that data we call it as model. The data which is sent from the friend controller, that data we call it as model, nothing else. Okay, so from here, where the data will go? You people completed your Spring Boot project, right? How many layers you used in that Spring Boot project? Don't leave about Spring Boot project. Usually in project, how many packages did you create? How many different packages you created? Okay, you created DATO, DAO, and controller, right? So first it should hit the controller, correct? First it should hit the controller, and then it will go to the DAO. It will go to the DAO. After going to this, it will get saved into the database, correct? After this, data will be saved, correct? So whatever data is sent from the front controller, that will hit your controller layer package, DAO package, and then further the data will be saved into the database. After data is saved into the database, that is your Java object, correct? That is your Java object, because your program is written in Java. So in return, what you will be getting? You will be getting a model object. You will be getting model object. Now, now front controller will get the model object, and that object is your Java object. Okay, so can you send the response in Java object? Will your browser understand Java? Will your browser understand Java? Will it be able to take the Java object and display it into the client browser side? We cannot send the response in form of Java object, that is your model object. So what happens here, this model object will be collected. This model object will be collected from your front controller, and it will go to your view resolver. It will go to your view resolver. Now, what this view resolver will do? It will it will take the model object. It will take the model object and it will return the view and model object. It will return view and model object. That is nothing but it will return the object in form of browser understandable language. That's all. The terminology is what they use here is model, view, and controller. But in simple words, if I need to tell, it is a data, it is a Java object, and then it will send the object in form of browser understandable object. That's all. But all these terminologies you should know, so I am just using it repeatedly. So view resolver will send the it will send view and model object. View and model object, and this view and model object will be sent in form of response to the client, so browser can understand it and according to that it will display it to the client. Okay, so this is your model view, that is your MVC architecture. This MVC architecture is important. They'll draw architecture and all, but you need to explain it. You need to explain it. Whenever the client send the request will be accepted by the front controller, or it is also called as dispatcher servlet. Okay, so that data is called as model, and that model will be again further passed to the controllers, DAO, and then the data will be saved into the database. Once the data is saved into the database, that object, that is the model object, will be sent back to the dispatcher servlet. The model object will be sent back to the dispatcher object. Since the browser will not understand the model object, or browser will is not capable to understand other language objects, we require a view resolver. That view resolver will take the model object, it will convert the model object into view and model object. View and model object means the object is in the form of browser understandable language. So once the view resolver will convert the model object into view and model object, then the front responds to the client, and the response will be displayed in the browser. This is the workflow of the Spring MVC, or this is the architecture of the MVC model. So this is how you need to explain. For that, this diagram will be helpful to people. Okay, so that is why I have given it neatly. Did you understand? Did you understand this? How it is working? Yes. Can you connect it with how with any application? Yes or no? Just the architecture. Yeah. Okay, so this is all about your Spring MVC, guys. In Spring MVC, you don't have anything extra because you understood your Hibernate, you understood your mapping, you understood how to create controller, how to create DAO, DTO, all those you understood. So Spring MVC is just you need to understand the workflow, nothing else. So what I will do is I can just explain this theory part and wind up the class, but I want you to execute one simple example with respect to this front controller, model object, view and model. So all these, at least if you execute one small program, you will understand. So what I will do is I will just execute one small example and I'll share that example in the group. Okay, so along with this architecture, fine. So I'll go back to my Eclipse. Whatever terminologies I have used here, I'll be using the same thing in the example also. Just listen, concentrate, okay? So what I will do, I'll create a project. You know, right, for servlet based applications, how the project should be created. You people forgot or you remember it? File new. Should we create a simple maven project, or what else should be done? Should we create a simple maven project? Not simple, right? It is a web app project. So we'll go to next. We'll go to next. So what I should write here is audible now. The screen visible? Yes. Okay. So I just selected the web app 1.4 version, and then I have given group ID as com.smvc and spring MVC sample, and then I'll click on finish. So project is getting created. Project is getting created. Okay, project is created. So what I will do, I'll just right click on the project. I'll go to properties. In properties, I'll go to Java build path, and I'll select JRE libraries and Maven dependency, apply and close. Okay, so now I'll go to pom.xml. I'll go to pom.xml. Here we have dependencies. So I'll just paste all the dependencies. So what dependencies we should add here is, we need to add Spring Web MVC dependency. I'll share these dependencies to you people. If not from this pom.xml, you people can take it, and you know how to take it from MVN repository also. Okay, so Spring context dependency will give all the basic functionalities of your Spring. We need Spring Web MVC because model view controller we should use, and then we should have servlet, and then we should have servlet. Along with that, we need to use JSP API, because instead of HTML, we can go with JSP, because in JSP we can write HTML code as well as Java code. So these dependencies I am using. I'll just save all the dependencies, and then I'll update the project once. Okay, done. Now, now the first thing is we require friend controller, correct? The first thing is we require friend controller. Yes, in the architecture, I told you, right? Friend control is required because that is only accepting the request, it is sending the request. So, where should we create the friend controller, or where should we configure the friend control? Friend controller, you can configure it in your web XML. In your web.xml, you can configure the friend controller. So how to configure the friend controller? You people already know you need to use your servlet mapping. Yes, do you people remember in servlet how you were using? The same thing you need to use. URL pattern mapping. Yes, inside your web app, I'll just be using servlet mapping. And here servlet name I have given my spring MVC. And here I have just given my spring MVC. And I'll just update the project. I'll share the dependency in group to you people, so you people also can do it along with me. Yeah. Create a project. It is not a sample project. You people know how to create a project, right? Create the project and then add the dependencies. Completed till here. So we are just using the friend controller, that is nothing but your dispatcher servlet here. Okay, we are giving the fully qualified name which is in your Spring framework, and then we are just giving the URL pattern, any URL which will start with slash. Any URL you start with slash, all those URL will be considered. And what is the name we are giving? Spring, my spring MVC, we are giving the name. Okay, so this is your friend controller configuration. We have configured our friend controller file. So now we need to tell the spring, right? We need to tell the spring, like, from this particular package I will be mentioning all the controllers. I'll create a controller and all those controllers are present in this particular package. Your base package configuration, which we have done, similarly here also in MVC you need to do the package configuration, base package configuration, your sub package configurations you need to do. Okay, what I will do, I'll just create a new package. I'll write com.smvc.controller. So this is the package com.smvc.controller, so which is my base package com.smvc. So any package which starts with com.smvc, you, or in from that you can check my controller classes whichever I create. Where you should give that configuration, in your web app, just create a JSP file. Just create a JSP file with whatever name you have given here, with whatever name you have given for the front controller. So I'll just right click on the, here it is my spring MVC. I just copy this, right click on the web app, JSP file, paste. Along with this you should give hyphen servlet dot xml, hyphen servlet dot xml. Sorry, you should create a XML file, not JSP file. New, where is XML? Other, XML. Yeah, I have XML file option here. Paste hyphen servlet dot XML. Okay, so you need to create a XML file. Till here, you people complete it. Sorry guys, how we need to create JSP file? I told it in the same format, but you should create inside web.inf. Create XML file in web.inf. One XML file is to configure your dispatcher servlet, that is your front controller. Now we are creating a XML file in which you will be configuring the base package. In which you will be configuring the base package. Bean you have used, right? We have used the bean. The bean tag, the same configuration we will be doing here. So your base package, I am mentioning it as com.smvc. Base package, I am mentioning it as com.smvc. So I'll share this also. When it comes to your Spring related project, it is very important to specify your base package either in XML format or in your annotation based format. Okay, this is very much important. Done till here? So once after writing the entire code, I'll explain you I explain you the flow and architecture, right? The same way I'll explain here also, so you'll have some idea. So done with the web.xml. Web.xml, in which we have configured our dispatcher servlet, that is your front controller, and then we created another XML inside web.inf, that is my spring mvc hyphen servlet dot xml. So here we have configured the base package. Here we have configured the base package. Done till here? So now I will create one user controller. I'll create one user controller. Okay. In the package, in the same package, I'll create a class user controller, and I will annotate it with controller. Here I'll just write a method public string print. I'm just taking a method. So here I'll try to return display.jsp. I'll return display.jsp page whenever the client hits on the URL called slash message or any other URL, whichever you feel like mentioning. Okay. So here I'll just give request mapping. And when when the client requests for the URL, that is slash msg, then this particular JSP file should be returned. This particular JSP object should be returned. Object is in the string format as of now. Object is in the string format we are trying to return, but actually it should be in the HTML format or in the JSP format. Correct? So what we will do here is we will create a display.jsp file. We'll just create display.jsp file. So inside web app, I'll just create a JSP file and I'll name it as display.jsp. So the Object will be sent in the form of HTML so that the browser will understand. So I'm just mentioning a simple message as of now. Hi, welcome to Spring MVC. Welcome to Spring MVC. Okay. So try to create a user controller and a display.jsp, and then I'll just execute and show you the flow. So here we need to add the server. So Apache Tomcat 9. Next, browse the server location. Where was documents, softwares? Yeah, I have it here. Okay, done. Done till here. So after adding the server, I'll just run this project on server. I'll just run this project on server, Tomcat server. Next, finish. So server will get started. Server is getting started. Okay. So now here I'll just explain you the workflow, how exactly it is working. Now let's say we are the client, we are in the browser side, So here I'll just use this URL. Okay, so it is localhost. We are in the localhost. So HTTP localhost, which server port we are using, 8080. And then what is the project name which we have given? It is spring underscore MVC. Or I have just sample. Is this the project name which we have mentioned? Spring MVC sample. Yes. Now, slash. on hit of which URL, that is MSG. So client is requesting for MSG from the browser. When the request goes, when the request is sent, that is enter, when the request is sent, it will go to the front controller. From that front controller, it will check where is the controller page. From there, it will return in the message in form of browser understandable language. That is, it will go to the display.jsp. From display.jsp, it will come to the browser. So I got hi, welcome to Spring MVC. So it took time to browse, and then you got this output. Immediately you did not get the output, right? Because from your from the request send, it goes to the front controller. From the front controller, it will check, okay, the URL is slash msg. So that in that particular request mapping, we have return string. We are returning a string, that is display.jsp, but string format cannot be understood by the browser. So it will go to the display.jsp, it will convert, it will send the message whatever is written in the display.jsp to the browser. So this is the workflow which I execute. It takes some time. It will just browse, and then it will display the message. So I got hi, welcome to Spring MVC. Okay, so this is the flow, and this is how the code also will be written. You need to start from um, front controller, and then you need to give the configuration for base package, and then you need to give the mappings properly, and then the JSP page required based on the requirements you need to display. Okay. So that's it about Spring MVC. This, if you will be able to explain, then it will be well and good. So this project I will share it to you people. Okay. So I have informed that I have informed to your counselors and HRs, stating that advanced Java classes completed. Actually, I got a call from them 2 days back. Okay, so they were like, "Ma'am, did you complete JDBC and Hibernate concept?" So because this class is only for your J2EE concepts, not for your framework. But I told them I have completed the entire framework concepts also, so don't need to provide any extra classes for that. And they were like, okay, fine. So they'll start providing interviews for you people. Uh, so how much is possible, and extra concepts also I have covered, which is important for your interviews. I did not leave any simple concepts. All questions and all theory parts, execution, everything I have done. Now it's in your hand. You need to practice more. The more you practice, it will be easier for you people. If not, you will face the difficulty. Okay, so everything, your syllabus and extra concepts also, everything is covered. Okay, so from tomorrow or day after tomorrow, the schedule for mock will be sent to you people in group. Fine, according to that, you people can take up your mocks, and the rating will be given. So done with your advanced Java classes, guys. So all extra concepts also completed. I hope I did not miss out anything. Fine. And I'll share you few more important questions. I'll just share it to you people. Fine. I just wanted to inform this and complete these sessions, students. Done. So you can, we'll wind up the class. Yeah, notes I will send. I'll send whatever is left out, whatever is required for you to clear your interviews. All those I will share it to you people. No, no, MVC is not important, guys. Boot, Spring Boot is important. Please work on Spring Boot, okay? Um, wo- like you people only take few projects and start working on it. Yeah, I have shared Akash. That is more than enough, okay? So counselors or HRs will be contacting you people. Yeah, Spring security is important. Microservice is also important. In future, you will be having more scope on security and Spring microservices. I told you people, no, you need to work on all those concepts. When you are in a company, they'll just tell you work on security, work on microservices. You people should learn and you people should work. Okay, all those are important, but it takes little time. Future, it further and further future projects, whichever you work, that time it will be important. As of now, Spring Boot is running in your industry, so work on this. Okay, fine. So we are done with the advanced Java classes. So you people can leave. Thank you, guys. All the best for your career and for your life. Okay, thank you. So we are done with today's class. You people can leave the class. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, even I'll miss you, miss everyone. But I hope I will be in a good position future. Yeah. Take care, guys.